Hey folks, GetFlappy here, and I have a story for you that made me think about a huge problem in our community. Gatekeeping.
I didn't get your name.
I'm Zul. I'm the gatekeeper.
You see, this past weekend I went to what I lovingly call a nerd wedding, and those of you who have been to a nerd wedding know what that is. It is one half nerds and one half just regular normal people. Okay, I realize that does make it sound like we are a different species. We are not a different species, but for the sake of the story, there are nerds and normal people, okay? It is very hard to get people to dance at these kinds of weddings. I was sitting at a table of mostly strangers, and it came out that I am a YouTuber who makes D&D content. Now, when the words D&D left my lips, two things happened. One half of the table did this, and another half of the table did this. The common thread here was that everyone realized that the next half hour would be spent talking about D&D. They were all correct. And I've actually been thinking a lot about that moment. What's going on in other people's heads when we talk about D&D? Yesterday I came across this post from the circle jerk bastion we call Facebook, and it made me actually deeply uncomfortable. Here's what it says. Half of these Stranger Things Eddie Munson loving people now suddenly into D&D tees and battle jackets. Okay, so let's just stop there right now and just think over that for a second. The beginning of this starts with an us versus them mentality, basically saying these Stranger Things Eddie Munson loving people. That's just textbook gatekeeping already, right off the bat. Let's move on. Half of these people bullied metalheads and geeks most of their lives. A lot of you have some apologies to make, but once done, come back and we can discuss music and welcome you to the scene properly. So these people who wear t-shirts, these people who come into my hobby, drop in and think that they belong, but they don't. It says then some stuff about bullying, which, you know what, there is something to be said about bullies. I am not pro-bully, but the reason why bullies owe you an apology is because they bullied you, not because they are suddenly into your interest. It doesn't make any sense. It goes on to say that this post isn't about gatekeeping, that it's about accountability, and I don't think I agree. Honestly, this is just a post that starts out pretty condescending and ends up really condescending with come back and we can discuss music and welcome you to the scene properly, as if there's like a proper way to welcome someone to the scene. Honestly, this is not an inclusive post in any sort of way. It is meant to inspire hate, which I guess is the point of Facebook in general, but this is obviously a post that is meant to be gatekeeping, hiding behind the facade of bullying. You're not supposed to give people conditions on whether or not they can enjoy something. I started thinking about these people at the wedding. Those people who were probably feeling pretty overwhelmed, pretty bored, and worst of all, maybe too afraid to join the conversation in the first place. Because if you say something wrong, if you say something that is maybe a little bit off, someone might actually jump down your throat and tell you how wrong you're being and make you feel embarrassed, ashamed, or bad. All of a sudden, who is the bully in this situation? And I get it. Maybe there's this sort of feeling of defensiveness over your own hobby. It creates maybe some cognitive dissonance for someone. But when you welcome people into a new hobby with the willingness to listen and understand and help, you can have an experience like this one in the podcast Newcomers. Here, let me play it for you.
I think I might try to play again.
This could be fun. You really gave a great intro to this, Brennan, because
Yes.
I think both of us were like, what is going on? And that was really cool. I liked it.
Oh my God. Yeah, I'll be honest. I thought it was going to be very boring and dumb. But then you get into it and...
I mean, incredible. That was a very giddy Brennan Lee Mulligan giving Nicole Byer and Lauren Lapkus their very first Dungeons & Dragons experience. And I There are no words for something so amazing and incredible and uplifting like that. A purely fun and good moment to have with people. And when you gatekeep, you just deprive people of even wanting to engage with it in the first place. I'm gonna leave you all with a challenge. Also, make sure you drop a like on this video because it really helps out the channel, helps us spread to more people, and we can make a positive impact on more people's lives if we can get this video out to more eyes. Here's the challenge I have for you. Go out of your way to make someone feel special for their interest in D&D. Have a nice conversation about it. Don't try to correct little details that they get wrong. Just try to give them a good understanding of how fun the game can be. That's it. If you have a good story like this, please leave it in the comments so we can share with the world how positive this community can be. Thanks, and I'll see you next time.